Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome, how are you? It is the 12th day of February 2014. Oh my golly gosh, 8 a.m. Eastern. And I'm talking to you live from the greater Detroit area, the major city, Detroit, Michigan. And it's still cold. That's okay, it's still winter. I'm not complaining, but it is below zero. So word to everybody, get warm. Do what you got to do. Put on the extra clothes. Get that Afghan wrapped around you, or get some great coffee going, or tea, or music, or something. I got some great music going, and I'm grateful as anything for this wonderful music. It comes to you from a fabulous award-winning artist. His name is David Martinko, and you can find his music at www.redbellymusic.com. He's also part of a great group called Sun Shadows, and their music is found at sunshadows.net. So there you go. Enjoy that music. If I could do music on my own, believe me, I would love to make a living at it. So I admire people that make music and do wonderful things to bring us up, elevate us, give us a little more happiness in our day. Because, if you get stuck, and I say stuck because sometimes there's just no way around it. If you get stuck reading all the news of the day, and I'm not saying don't be informed, right? But if you get stuck, like when you boot up your computer and it goes right to the front page of some news source, and there's a lot of them out there, then you're going to see it's going to flash right in front of you. And I remember saying to some friends of mine who are in what I call broadcast radio, because you turn on your radio and you find them, I was listening to them talk about a particular story. I'm not going to go into it because I want to focus on the story. But the thing was, I had been avoiding hearing or looking or knowing anything about that story for several days, right? And all at once, boom, they're talking about it. And I thought, I didn't want to hear this, so I couldn't stop listening. It was like being at an accident scene. They talk about gawkers. You see this accident scene and your head just kind of turns as you're driving by, and it kind of turns, and pretty soon you're looking over your right shoulder and your car is still going forward. So the reason I brought that up was because of the title of the show today, Better Health from an Attitude of Gratitude. Now, I didn't have a bad day yesterday because I heard that story. However, because I got caught up in the exceedingly depressing details or appearance of depressing details about the particular story, I found that my body was reacting to that I didn't feel the energy I had gotten up with, which was peppy and bright and upbeat and bouncy. I mean, I get out of bed feeling peppy, upbeat, bright, and bouncy. Say that 3 times fast. Call me, let me know. But anyway, I literally felt myself not enjoying my life as much as I had prior to hearing the story. And it just sort of validated this title that had come to me at some point last week when I was thinking about, okay, Spirit, what are we going to share? And this is like a recent experience. But I want to take you back in time to something. I don't know how many of you have ever seen the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? Great film. And it's been out for a little while. I mean, it's not a yesterday kind of a film. In fact, I want to say it's over 10 years old. Wonderful film. It stars the hearing challenged or hearing impaired actress Marlee Matlin, and she does this wonderful take us through the actual experience of what all these great scientists and scientific minds are telling us regarding our ability to literally manifest a happier, healthier life by what we say to ourselves, the programming we give ourselves. So this is what spurred this topic. Not just that movie, which I adore and I try to watch frequently. In fact, maybe I'll watch it again today because I really do love it. I have it on DVD. But also a section of the movie with a Japanese doctor, Dr. Emoto. Now, his first name, Masaru, M-A S-A-R-U, Masaru. I'm going to go with that, Dr. Masaru Emoto. And he did an experiment on water where he took distilled water and photographed the crystals with a dark field microscope. And they're beautiful. They look like snowflakes, just gorgeous. And then he attached words, taped them to the bottles, and let them set overnight. And then he re-photographed these water molecules. The changes in the water molecules were evident. He could literally see that when he taped words of distress and fear and anger onto the bottles, the water molecules really, they looked like they were not having a good time at all. There was a definite physical change in the water molecules. Conversely, when he taped the words of loving, kind, enthusiastic, generous, joyful words to the bottle, those molecules just got even more beautiful and more beautiful and more beautiful. So you're thinking to yourself, Annette, what in the world would Dr. Emoto's experience or experiments have to do with moi? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm so glad you asked. Everything. Everything. Even though this was an experiment with water, and the majority of our bodies are water. The content of our bodies are water. So is a lot of the food we eat, by the way, like cucumbers and celery and things, but I digress, but I'll get back to that in a moment. If taping a word to a bottle of distilled water changed the molecular structure for the happy or the not so happy, which is the whole point of the experiment, and if we find out it's going to change it for the happy, I guess we got to kind of know if it changes it for the unhappy too, right? Then it is going to do the same thing for us. And that's pretty much a guarantee. It's not pretty much a guarantee. That's a guarantee. Now, do you want to walk around with words taped to your forehead all day? You could. People think you're nuts. What do you care? Seriously, when we're talking about our health, we're talking about recreating something that we liked. We think about it a lot, okay? So when I remember a happy birthday party I had as a child or a wonderful experience I had with friends, when you think about that, don't you get a feeling of pleasure? I'm talking about a happy experience. I'm talking about something that you dreaded doing. You get happy. Your shoulders relax. Your tummy doesn't get in knots. Your smile may get bigger. You feel better. And when is the best time to do that? Well, people do that a lot. They do it at funerals. Why? Because we're trying to feel better than where we were. We have a health issue of, let's say, lethargy or depression, whatever. It may be our bodies aren't responding. We're not digesting our food because we're all tied up in knots over our sorrow and grief. So what does somebody do at the funeral? Usually they try to cheer us up. They say things. They give us loving, kind, fabulous words to lift us. Or let's say we've just come out of a very, very scary situation where maybe a loved one has been in the hospital and they've just gone through some kind of mind-blowing surgery. And not that any surgeries aren't to be concerned about these days. I mean, a lot of funky stuff goes on. But I'm talking a surgery where you were told that person might not make it through. There's got to be somebody there to cheer you up, whether it's a hospital volunteer, a social worker, a friend, a family member. At least I hope there is. If not, call me. I'll help cheer you up because that's no place to be, is alone. But the idea is those words that we say, our body believes. There's a great book out there, Your Body Believes Every Word You Say. I wish I could remember the author, but I can't. I'll try to, when I put the video together for this, I'll try to get that. Your body believes every word you say. Your mind and your body work together. So if you don't want to walk around like Dr. Emoto did, taping the little words to everything, say them. Feel them. That's where the emotion part comes in. That's where the part of our body that's connected to water really makes this magic happen. Feel that connection. Let yourself laugh. Let your shoulders drop. Let your insides do some internal jogging. I heard a comedian say that once. When I'm laughing, I'm internal jogging, so I laugh all day. I thought I was going to fall off the chair laughing so hard. That was funny. But see what I mean about we can get better health from an attitude of gratitude? You can literally talk yourself into having a bad day, which will then result in all the body mechanics following suit. Or you can talk yourself into having a good day, which, again, will result in all of your body mechanics following suit. When you're looking at improving your health, There's a lot you can do on your own. When you're looking at living a better life, meaning healthier, happier, it starts with your attitude. I wish that people didn't want to challenge that all the time, but I'm glad they do. I'm grateful. You know why? Because it proves that they can do it. It proves that they can get there. So does that mean you got to walk around with an attitude of gratitude every single moment of the day? Well, you say that like it's a bad thing. Of course you can. Of course you can. Will there be moments where you might not have an attitude of gratitude? Absolutely. I know I'll question stuff. I mean, I'm literally not like this shining Buddha sitting there all day oming myself into bliss. I'm just like the rest of you. Stuff happens that makes me go, say what? I cry, I get upset. However, it's the length of time I spend in that state for a couple of reasons. First of all, that's not comfortable emotionally. I don't want to stay in that state of yuck. And the second thing is I know that staying in that state of yuck will not solve the problem. You cannot solve a problem from the same energy that created it. It is not possible to do that. So in order to get beyond it, in order to get on the other side of it, whether it's financial or it's physical, your health, emotional, spiritual, mental, any health issue, we've got to flip the coin. I mean, we've got to do it. It's not really an option. Well, it's an option. But I mean, if you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, to borrow the colloquial on that, then you have the choice of getting yourself out of that situation by adopting the attitude of gratitude. And when you start feeling, not just saying, but feeling grateful for things, I promise you the energy in your body shifts for the better. When your body's energy shifts for the better, your health improves. And that is why I felt it was so important to share that with you today. Because there's a lot of people out there that are seeking cures for this ailment, direction and guidance for this physical problem that's going on in their body. And you can go to all the specialists in the world and they can give you a lot of medicine, guidance, and direction. And I'm not saying don't do that. But what I'm saying is if you have your attitude in a place of gratitude, everything will work better. You might find that there are things that somebody would have given you to use at one time that you don't need now because you're actually elevating your own serotonin levels or cortisol levels or immune system. You know, you're working on all that through your attitude of gratitude. So all those terms I tossed at you, you know, serotonin, cortisol, and immune system, obviously I am not a doctor. I cannot tell you what to do about your health. I can tell you what I have done. I can tell you what other people that I've connected with have done. That's why I suggest that you read the books by Dr. Emoto, who is on Facebook, by the way. Facebook, Dr. Masaru Emoto, Facebook.com/Dr. Masaru. Masaru? I had it the first time, Emoto, on Facebook. Check him out, like him, follow his information. It's fascinating. Watch the movie What the Belief Do We Know. Get a hold of the book, Your Body Believes Every Word You Say, and really see what it can do for you. The attitude of gratitude can give you so much to look forward to. And here's the cool thing. It's teachable. It's replicatable. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. It may cost you a couple of your boo-hoo-hoo, blah-ha-ha moments, but I think we can give up the blue-hoo-hoo, blah-ha-ha moments, right, because nobody wants to keep that stuff around. What I would like to keep around is you. Annette Rochelle Aben here. You can follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn. I'd love to have you. If you go here to blogtalkradio.com and then type in after that /Perspective Power, you can follow the show, as many people have, and I really do appreciate it. You can also go to www.redbellymusic.com and find out more about the music of this fine artist, David Martinka. Also, sunshadows.net to find out about the group Sun Shadows. And be sure to tune in every Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, right here for an attitude of gratitude.